name is Jeanne Stern. I was born Wanda Nagorski on May 2nd, 1916 in Erie, Pennsylvania. When I was 3 years old, I moved to Hellertown with my parents, John and Stephanie, and my sister, Irene. My parents were Polish immigrants, and my father owned a shoe repair shop on Main Street.
My name is Leo L. Stern, and I was born in Fountain Hill on June 29, 1914, and also moved to Hellertown when I was 3 years old. My parents, Frank and Julia, owned a house first on Ackerman Street and then moved to Northampton Street. I remember when we moved, we used a horse and wagon, and I even got to sit up front with the wagon driver. I was the youngest in a family of 5 children. Frank and Albert were my brothers, and Emma and Julia were my sisters. My parents were Austrian immigrants, and my father had a job as a steel worker.
I was born in Fountain Hill, and we were there possibly 3 years, and we moved to Hellertown. And I've been Hellertown since 1917 till the present. There was 5 in the family. How can I get on with the 3 boys and 2 girls? When we went to first grade, all of us at one time.
Growing up, I attended the Furnace and Franklin grade schools, and I graduated from Hellertown High. I loved music, and I learned how to play the violin. I was one of the first girls to play basketball for Hellertown High School. The rules were very different back then. 3 girls played defense on one side of the court, while another 3 played offense on the other side. We wore skirts instead of shorts, and the ball was 100% real leather.
My brother and I used to love to play soccer. In high school, we played for the legendary Mr. Hoppus. After we graduated, we were able to play for the Portuguese club, which was a semi-professional team that played in Saucon Park. The salaries for athletes certainly weren't like they are today. I was paid $1 a game plus a bottle of wine. We usually waited until at least halftime to open the bottle. However, one of my favorite memories occurred on our last day of exams at the high school.
Played hooky a lot of times, which was a thing at that time. Had quite a few experiences when we did. The second last week in school, there's five ringleaders went out to the Lost Cave, and we didn't get there at the same time, so 2 of us went in there. And while we went in, this other gang came and started a fire, which is a normal thing to do when the Lehigh students used to come down and get them stalagmites or stalactites or what they were and break them off. And we'd always smoke them out, you know. Well, they forgot about us and they put a rubber tire in there, and I'll tell you, it was quite an experience for the both of us. We had one flashlight, and we went into a pond. Well, that finished the flashlight, so they had to come in after us. That was quite an experience to be at something like that. There, we were reprimanded quite a few times. I'm not bragging about it, but when you don't have many lessons to do, you know you have a lot of extra time on your hand, and we made the most of it to suit us.
But then we had to go out into the real world. After graduation, I worked at the R.K. Laros Silk Mill for 4 years.
My first job was at the shoe factory, and it's right across the street from Saucon Valley Manor. And we got $5.99 a week, and I guess the highest paid guy got $6.99 a week. They gave me an extra $1 per week just to fire up the furnaces early in the morning, so when the girls came in, the second floor was nice and warm for them. It was an experience. I think I was there about 2 years, and finally the Bethlehem Steel got going, and I got a job at the Bethlehem Steel. I stayed there 5 years. I think it was 6 years. And we started the Laros Silk Mill. The owner started making artificial blood plasma. And we went to Ohio for 3 months for training, and I went out there, and when we came back, the place was all set up here with all the stills and whatever you had to make it, and for some reason, it only lasted 3 years. Something happened that they could do other things better than the blood plasma at that time. People were really free in giving blood, but as you know nowadays, you know it's a problem, you know, to get the blood. But they discontinued and they put quite a bit of money in it. I think it was 5 years that we had that blood plasma bin.
Leo and I met through a mutual friend, and we were married in 1937. We went on to raise 2 boys. Dick graduated from Muhlenberg College and later went on to graduate school and eventually became an electrical engineer. Tom joined the Army and then became a member of the Pennsylvania State Police and a basketball coach at Saucon Valley High School.
My wife Wanda, she was my partner in business. There was a candy store that was for sale, but we didn't buy it, but we rented it. And when I was working at Blood Plasma, she took care of this candy store, and she just loved that. That time I was possibly a meat cutter, and she was good as a cashier. But the big store that I had on the corner was for rent or for sale, whatever they wanted to do with it, and we thought we'd take a jab at that. Well, we went over to see how much money it's going to cost to go into this your business. And he said, how much do you need? I said, well, I need $5,000. Well, he said, boy, that's a lot of money. Now you're talking about 1957. $5,000 was a lot of money. I'm just going to take a guess that would be about at least $35,000 or $40,000 now, you know, to what it was. I paid this thing off in less than a year, and he was flabbergasted. So we were doing good. Again, I say the people supported me, so I had the building, the whole outside of the building plastered, or I don't know, facelift or whatever you want to call it. I had a new front put in, and they were calling me on the phone, do I need money for this or do I need money for that? Before I had a heck of a time even getting the money, but that's the way it went. And we had that was the best time of my life in that store business.
Where do you get small town service like that anymore? Everyone knew you. Even when I was a baby, they gave my mom gifts for me. Everybody knew everybody.
Hello, my name is Jeanne Stern, and I'm a resident of Hellertown, Pennsylvania. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the experiences of my grandparents, Leo and Wanda Stern, in Hellertown. They first started a small store in 1955 on Main Street, selling a few groceries and candy. And then quickly that store began to expand, and they purchased a building on the corner of Water and Main Street in Hellertown and started a butcher shop. This very quickly became a place where a lot of people would get their groceries, get their meat for the week. At the height of the store, my grandfather would literally crank out about 800 pounds of sausage, and people would line up before the store would even open to get their meat and to get their food from Stern's Market. And they stayed there for about 20 years until they decided to retire and move on. We led a full life and always tried to remember what was important. For us, it was the 4 C's: community, church, charity, and children.